She pointed a taser at my wife. That's how it started and how everything ended. 1 second of electric hiss, one twitch away from disaster right there under the oak gazebo while half the neighborhood watched. I can still see the sunlight flashing off the metal, the smirk on Karen Halbrook's face, and the way my wife's badge rolled out of her purse like fate itself pulling the trigger back on karma. My name's Ethan Morales. I moved to Crescent Hollow Estates to retire quietly, maybe fix up the house, drink coffee on the porch, watch sunsets fade into the desert. I'd spent 10 years in internal affairs investigating cops who thought power made them gods. I didn't expect to find the same sickness hiding behind white fences and community pride posters. Karen Halbrook was the queen here, president of the HOA. Polite voice, iron fist, fake smile that could slice through glass. Her right hand was Derek Vaughn, ex-military self-appointed chief of security, which really meant a guy with a clipboard and a taser he wasn't licensed to carry. Together, they ran Crescent Hollow like a gated monarchy. At first, it was small stuff. A warning about our mesquite tree, a letter about recycling bins, a fine because our car was visible from the street. I laughed it off. Everyone warned me HOAs could be strict. Then came the $900 citation for obstructing emergency access because Marisol had parked by the curb during a monsoon. That's when she snapped. My wife doesn't yell often, but that night she did. They don't care about safety, she said, soaked and furious. They care about control. She was right. I just didn't realize how far that control reached. A few weeks later, Karen mailed another violation. Marisol went down to the oak gazebo to photograph the new signs just to prove the board was bluffing. That's when Derek showed up, tasering hands, straight eyes, hard voice, flat as concrete. "Ma'am, step away. HOA Code Section 12. Karen stood behind him like a director watching her favorite scene unfold. I stepped forward before I could even think. "That man's holding a weapon in public without a license," I said, voice steady even though my pulse was hammering. "You calling that code enforcement?" Karen just smiled. "You're free to file another complaint, Mr. Morales." I told her who I was then. 10 years internal affairs, retired. I watched Derek's expression flicker recognition, maybe fear, but Karen's tone stayed syrup smooth. "He's bluffing," she snapped. Then everything froze. Marisol bent to pick up the papers Karen had thrown at her and her purse spilled. Her phone keys, and that badge glinting in the sunlight. Detective Morales, Sheriff's Department. That's when Derek's arm dropped. The taser lowered like gravity finally remembered him. The crowd whispered. Karen stammered something about misunderstanding, but the spell had broken. For the first time, the perfect little kingdom of Crescent Hollow cracked open. The deputies came. No arrests, just awkward statements and clipped apologies. Karen's version of control was to pretend it never happened. But I knew what I saw: a civilian with a weapon and a woman drunk on authority. That night, I sat at our dining table and started cataloging every fine, every warning, every email. My wife said quietly, "They'll come after you." I said, "Good. Maybe they'll come with paperwork." At first it felt righteous. Then it started to feel pointless. Days blurred into nights of scrolling through bylaws and time-stamped videos. The more I dug, the smaller I felt. The neighbors avoided me now. Some whispered I was trying to ruin the community. Maybe I was. Maybe I was just obsessed. One night I stared at my own reflection on the laptop screen and whispered, "What if they're right? What if I'm the problem?" That's when Tom Becker appeared, the maintenance guy. Quiet, nervous, always sweeping the same patch of concrete. He caught me one morning by the gate and muttered, "Check the storage invoices. Section D, back page." Then he walked away. I almost didn't. But curiosity, that old cop reflex, won. What I found made my blood run cold. Crescent Hollow had no registered security contract. Yet someone had purchased equipment only law enforcement could buy: tasers, surveillance cameras, even uniforms. Paid with HOA funds, signed by Karen. That's when everything shifted. I wasn't just mad anymore. I was on a case. I filed an official inquiry under state statute, then went to the HOA office myself. Karen sat behind her glass desk, pretending to type. "Financial statements for the past 12 months, I said. and documentation of any security-related purchases. Her fingers froze. "Those aren't public documents," she said. I slid the printed statute across the desk. "They are now." Her smile faltered. She said she'd consult with the treasurer. I said she had 5 business days. That night Tom found me again. "They said you should watch your cameras," he whispered. "Sometimes things get reset." He looked terrified. Sure enough, at 2:37 a.m., Derek's truck headlights swept across my driveway. He didn't do anything, just lingered like he was marking territory. Fear tried to crawl in, but I'd seen worse men fall harder. The next morning I printed stills from the footage. Evidence. It became a routine. Coffee research documentation rage. Until one afternoon, Tom came to my house shaking. "She's shredding documents," he said. "Told me to delete backups, but I didn't. I saved everything." He handed me a flash drive. His fingers were trembling so bad it clicked against my wedding ring. "You know what this means?" I asked. He nodded. "Yeah," he said, "it means I'm screwed." I spent the next 12 hours at my desk, the rain tapping on the window, sifting through hundreds of files. Fake vendors, ghost invoices, Karen's signature on every one. I called an old colleague in the sheriff's auditing division. "You've got something real?" he asked. "Better," I said. "I've got a pattern." By the time I hit submit, the storm outside had swallowed the city. The next morning I called for a special homeowners meeting. 30 signatures enough to force a session under HOA bylaws. Karen couldn't stop it, not legally. When I walked into the clubhouse that evening, it felt like walking into court. The air was tight, humming with tension. Karen was already there, clipboard in hand, Derek standing like a bodyguard behind her. "Mr. Morales," she said sweetly, "please tell me this isn't another attempt at drama." "Not drama," I said. "Evidence." I plugged in the projector. The first slide came up, her signature side by side with the fake vendor registration. The room went silent except for the hum of the fan. "This," I said, "is where your dues went. Not to lighting, not to landscaping, to tasers, surveillance gear, and uniforms for a fake security division." Karen's face went red. "Those were community-approved expenses." "Then why were they filed through your cousin's company?" I asked. Tom stepped forward from the back, voice shaking. "She told me to delete everything." Gasps rippled through the room. Karen turned pale. "This is slander," she snapped. The door opened behind us. 2 county auditors walked in, badges gleaming. "Mrs. Halbrook," one said, "we're here on behalf of the Oversight Division. We'll need to sit in." Karen's clipboard slipped from her hand. Derek took a step back. For the first time, neither of them had words. By the time the meeting ended, the homeowners had voted unanimously to suspend the board pending investigation. Karen's gavel came down weakly once, then someone took it from her. The sound of applause rolled through the room like thunder. The next morning, deputies showed up at the HOA office. Karen tried to talk her way out of it, voice cracking. "This is absurd. I've done nothing wrong." One of the deputies handed her a subpoena for financial records. "You'll have your chance to prove that," he said. When she saw me standing in the doorway, her face twisted. "You did this," she hissed. "No," I said quietly, "you did." Outside, the neighbors were gathered, phones out, whispering. Some smiled, others just watched. Tom was there too, leaning against his maintenance cart, eyes red but relieved. "It's over," he said. "Almost," I told him. "Now the county takes it from here." Minutes later, the deputies escorted Karen out. No handcuffs, just that hollow look people get when they finally realize control isn't the same as power. The HOA flag above the office tore loose in the wind, spiraling across the street before landing at my feet. The emblem was faded, the gold lettering peeling away. I picked it up and folded it out of habit more than anything. As the cruisers drove off, Tom asked, "You think they'll fix it now?" "They will," I said. "This place deserves leadership, not tyranny." Thunder rolled across the valley, low and final, like a gavel closing a case. I looked toward the oak gazebo, the same place where this started, and for the first time it looked honest. No banners, no threats, just wood and sunlight. I thought about what Marisol had said that first night. They don't care about safety. They care about control. Turns out control doesn't last. Truth does.